Welcome to episode 6 of the Juantastic show. Mr. Juan Kilala is out, so I'm replacing him for the episode. I am Romeo Carey, and I want to introduce a discovery from Kickstarter that's fully funded, and I think it is something that I think it could really be a lifesaver for a lot of people, and the capacities and the kind of broad spectrum of help that can come from it is really going to be an interesting story that the CEO of MyPurMist, Lars Barfod, is going to explain to us. So let me welcome to Studio B the CEO of MyPurMist, Lars Barfod.
Thanks a lot.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Happy to be here.
So now, could you, just before we get into this incredible discovery that you not only discovered, but you actually manifested and created, it's amazingly sleek, amazingly well designed. It looks like a state-of-the-art medical tool that has like really functionality that's beyond something I'd ever seen before. Before I get into that, just real quick.
Yeah.
What was the genesis of that? How did you come to envision this, and where, just the seed of that, where did that come from?
The genesis was the idea of creating steam out of a new technology we call a capillary force vaporizer, which is a tiny little thing that sits inside of this product that enable you to make steam that's instant, completely germ-free, and that you can use at any angle.
You said capillary force. Are you trying to
Capillary
get that
force.
right into the bloodstream? Is that what you mean by
No,
that?
but it soaks water up by itself. There's no pump inside of the product or anything like that. But think of it as like a wicking
right.
effect.
Right.
But so when you power it with heat, then it automatically creates a capillary force that spews steam out through a little orifice at the top of the steam device. So that was the start. And then you start thinking about what can we use that technology for. And the first thing was, sort of the old thing that if you're congested or you have allergies or something like that, boil some water on a stove, put it in a bowl,
right.
Put a towel over your head, and sit and inhale it, or get in a hot steamy shower or
right.
something like that. Because we all know that makes sort of the nose start running, and you can get rid of it.
Right.
And so basically we created a modern version of that, where all you have to do is push a button, and the steam is instant, so you get steam right away, and you can adjust the temperature of the steam with this button here. Guess I should show it this way.
You got your camera there, yeah.
Yeah, so steam is instant, and you just hold it up here, and you can, lay down in your bed, or you can sit in your favorite recliner, watch TV, and you're steaming.
When did you first come? When did this first come into being? How long ago was the research and the?
We founded the company in 2012, and got right to work and launched our first product soon thereafter. And so MyPurMist Free and MyPurMist 2, that's on Kickstarter, are the two new versions of that where we combine the steam technology that is always completely germ-free with a HEPA air purifier. So not only do we create germ-free steam, we also purify the air you breathe. So if you're suffering from pollen, or the air is thick with dust and pollen or dander or whatever it is, then we purify that too when you use the product.
Wow. So you're using distilled water? Is that the?
We use ultra purified distilled water. That's also sterilized before you use it. So it's as clean as you can possibly get.
So you provide the water? Is that part of it? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So that
it comes with it.
What's the difference between distilled water and ultra?
Distilled water is you're just boiling water, and you're capturing that boiling water, and
right.
You're cooling it down, and it becomes distilled. So generally that's very clean, and so on. What we do is we make sure that there are no germs in the water at all. It's completely sterile, and we also purify it so that there will be no dust or anything else that's left in that water before you use it.
So we talk about people that have allergies. You got people who have sinus problems. What's kind of the list of the top candidates?
Yeah, people with sinus headaches, with allergies, whether they're seasonal or all year round.
So sinus headaches, basically what you're doing is you're loosening the sinuses. Is that what the headache comes from? Or
Yeah,
what?
so headaches come when your sinuses that sit right behind here and
Right.
up here,
Right.
they get inflamed and swell up, and you feel pressure
Right.
from all the stuff that's sitting in there.
Right.
And what steam helps is liquefy the gook you have in there, and you
Right.
can get rid of it, and it runs out and relaxes your sinuses.
So is the is that mucous membrane that's building up there? Is that what's
Yeah.
causing it?
So it swells up and make you
Yeah.
feel tremendous pressure in,
Right.
in your sinuses. Yeah.
Right. Well, it is
And
swelling.
so people will have headaches from that, and we have studies showing that 90% of the people who use our product feel symptom relief when they use our product.
Wow. Wow. Now, are you an inventor of other devices? Is this your primary invention? Or have you been a
I've been the CEO of a company that made an anti-gravity treadmill.
wow.
Before this, called Alter G. You can look that up. That was a treadmill where you can, adjust your weight, basically to almost weightlessness.
Wow.
For rehabilitation and for sports injuries and so on.
It's like swimming on land.
like running in a pool,
Right.
but without the water.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I'd like to try that sensation. That sounds pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Anti-gravity. And do you come from a family of inventors? Is it-
No, not really. I'm from Denmark originally.
Yeah.
So I've moved to Japan for a few years, and then I've been in the United States for the last 25 years.
What part of Japan?
Tokyo.
Tokyo. Is that part of that take you there? Your business, the anti-gravity.
I worked
business?
for a pharmaceutical company that
Ah.
made products for diabetes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And how'd you like Japan?
Loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a different culture, beautiful, kind people, I would
Right.
say, and squeaky clean.
I know.
Right? It is so clean there that
Runs
it's
like a
unbelievable.
Swiss watch. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
How do you move that many people on the clock and they all make their destinations? It's pretty
Yeah.
incredible.
But they're very nice people, very kind people who are extremely helpful. It was nice. It was a nice place to live.
Nice. Now, what did your parents do? What was your line of work?
Well, my dad was an accountant, he's retired now.
Yeah.
He was an accountant his whole life, and my mom was in insurance.
So wow, you are a trailblazer.
They never put any pressure on me to become anything. I took a master's degree, Master of Science degree.
Yeah.
At Copenhagen University of Copenhagen, Faculty of Life Sciences, and so I was always intrigued by science and stuff and how to make things and so on. And
Right.
Found it fun.
So maybe college kind of inspired you a little bit, getting into the sciences and seeing how maybe practical uses that you can apply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this is germ-free. We've been, as you can hear, with the HEPA filter and the steam device and so on, we've worked a lot on making this completely clean for whoever uses it.
Right.
So that's always been part of my interest.
The HEPA has gone through a couple of transformations too, right? Are they getting more sophisticated? It seems like they got number 1, number 2, number 5.
Yeah.
Where are they at with the HEPA filters?
Well, this is what they call H13. So this is medical grade that will purify 99.97% of any impurities in the air.
So at that point, what have you screened out? What are we looking to screen out?
Anything that's bigger than 0.3 microns.
Wow.
So that will be dust, pollen, bacteria, except for very few, none that would be any related to anything with your respiratory system. So pretty much everything there. Viruses you will not get, but pretty much everything else.
So now spores, where do spores fit in?
Spores, some spores from bacteria you will get, some others you won't get.
Right.
But again, the ones that generally associated with respiratory infections or things like that, those things you will
Those
get.
are the larger spores, right? Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. So when you're taking this in, you're taking in a pure dose of like, if it's going to clean the system, you're cleaning it with like a completely void of any contamination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we wanted to make sure, so one of the danger things about using steam is that you'll burn yourself and scald yourself.
Right.
So what we do is we actively cool the steam with a little fan inside the product that mixes ambient air with the steam. And so what we do is we suck in that ambient air, and when we do that, we run that through a HEPA filter. So we purify the air. It mixes with that germ-free steam we make in our Capillary force vaporizer technology. And then they come out here in a temperature that will never scald you.
Wow.
So
the regulations, it's being regulated by a fan that's capturing it, and in that fan is where it cools itself off.
Yeah, there's a little swirling mechanism inside where it mixes the steam with the ambient air to cool down the steam. So the temperature of this product is extremely accurate, like within half a degree or so.
As a demonstration, if say I came in and I was suffering from sinus headache, what would be the standard order that you would you'd walk them through? If I said I'm suffering from migraines, I'm suffering from sinus type of headaches.
Try to use the product a couple of times a day before you go to bed is often the best, because then you're relaxed and your sinuses are ready. So going before you go to bed is a good time, and then when you wake up in the morning. So if you start there, use it for about 10 minutes. 10 minutes. So twice a day. That will be a good start to see if it helps you, and do that for 4 or 5 days, and then see does that help you. And if it does, we recommend that you keep on doing it, maybe just once a day, even if you're symptom-free.
Is the 10 minutes a full session? So that's one whole application. Will it last for the whole complete 10 minutes?
It will last for about 35 minutes or so. So there's 3 or 4 sessions in a charge of the product and in the refills that you use.
I'm curious, how difficult was it to get it into major retailers?
Yeah.
And what major retailers did we get it into?
Today we are nationwide at all 1,700 Target stores, all 1,000 Bed Bath & Beyond, all the 7,000 Walgreens pharmacies in the country. We're on Costco.com, we're on Amazon, QVC.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
that's
and CVS, and CVS as well.
CVS.
Yeah.
That's a feat all by itself. Any one of those would be golden.
Yeah.
How'd you pull that off?
Well, it's a gradual process. We started going online. We did a few TV commercials, and it worked well. Then we got an agreement with a little chain of pharmacies up in Seattle that has 58 pharmacies called Bartels, and that went really well. So then you take that data, and we went to Target and said, it looks like we can sell in retail stores. And Target liked what they saw, and so they took it. And they didn't go to nationwide. They did like a third of their chain first.
Right.
And that worked well. And then once you get one of the big ones, all the others just look at that data and says, okay, it looks like it's selling. And then, it takes actually a longer than you think, because it's literally taken us, 5-6 years to get all of them.
Right.
It didn't always. Yeah, it's a process. You can't sit down and make a plan and say, okay, we're going to get all 5-6 of them in the first year.
But you manage to get it through. It's something, once you understand exactly how it works, you kind of know what you have to lean against to get the pennies to drop.
Yeah. Sorry, that was so when the unit is done, you probably heard it on the microphone, but when when you're done using the product, it dries itself for 10 minutes. So you don't have to clean it or anything. You just turn it off. It self-cleans. Wow. You turn it off and walk away, and you can get on with your day. And it's ready for next time you want to use it.
What's the lifetime of this? What kind of use can you get out of it, and what's the expected life of the product?
It will last you for years, because you use it maybe twice a day, and maybe not every day all the time. So it should last you for years.
Wow.
We warranted it for 2 years. So there's a full warranty. If anything happens to the product in the first 2 years of its life, we'll replace it, no problem.
Where are they selling? What are the kind of markets? Where is it doing best in the market, country-wise?
Yeah, that has always been an interesting thing for us, because we've done all sorts of analysis of which cities in the country or which states in the country we sell better.
Right.
And where people live, we sell. So really, we sell well in Los Angeles, but we also sell well in Boston and in Florida, where it's humid.
Right.
And I guess it just shows you that people have allergies and sinus congestion everywhere. And, they look to a product like this to get completely natural relief.
Right.
Because there's no drugs here. It's just water.
Right.
It's just
I think that's
water
part of
vapor.
the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No side effects. You can't overdo it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now, who are you up against in terms of competition?
Well, generally, we consider competition to be the over-the-counter medication that you can buy, Claritin, Zyrtec,
right.
and so on. Nasal sprays like Afrin, and so on. And people generally don't want to use drugs, so they look to our product to get a natural approach to dealing with it. But there's also like neti pots, for instance, and saltwater sprays and so on that people will use.
Do you use it in your own family?
Yes.
Yeah. Who uses it?
So, for instance, my daughter Chloe is at University of Oregon, and she will send me pictures once in a while and say, "Here, Dad, I'm using your product. I have a cold," and that warms my heart.
Does it get better than that?
No, it doesn't get better than that.
Yeah.
But they like it because it's very warm. If you have a cold or something, it's
Right.
nice to be really warm.
Oh yeah.
And it gives you that. It gives you that nice, warm, comfortable feeling that you'd like.
Right.
Like a hot shower.
Now, have these sold in Europe? Do these?
We're not selling in Europe. We're selling in United States and Canada, Australia, and New Zealand.
Okay.
We just signed an agreement with a company in China to start distributing the product in China.
That's amazing.
And we're currently in discussions about Europe, but we haven't gone there yet.
Are there any long-term benefits to this? The use of it? Have any research indicating like what might result from long-term use of that? Are there any downsides?
Yeah, but it's probably more the downsides that since it's just water and
Yeah.
warm humidity,
Right.
there are no long-term side effects that you can think of.
Right.
It doesn't scald you, it doesn't burn you, and it just humidifies your nose, your sinuses, your
Right.
throat, and your mouth.
Right.
A fun thing happened this week, for instance, that Ariana Grande gets on Instagram, and twice she posted a picture with our product.
Are you kidding?
I'm not kidding. To
Wow.
148 million
Holy
Instagram
cow.
followers, and 6 million people liked the
That must
post.
have spiked in sales.
Yes.
Yeah, not a doubt.
We saw
That's-
some nice spikes. Yeah.
That's something that people only dream of, and what
Yeah.
that would have cost you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't know she did it. My wife discovered it because she follows her on Instagram, so she certainly saw it. But that was fun. And she uses it to warm her voice cords for singing.
Well, look at
right?
that.
So she humidifies and warms her throat and her voice
yeah.
cords to get ready.
I mean, because I guess the doctors in this field are, what is it? Ears, nose, and throat. Ears,
Yeah.
eyes, nose, and throat.
Yeah.
Ear, eye, nose, and throat. So it's actually you've got this whole region that you're penetrating. You
That's
have
right.
some effect on all of that.
Yeah.
So I mean, we could do a whole show just on your voice.
Yeah, that's
you know
true.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to be interesting to get from her a testimonial. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
About what it does for her voice. It's pretty incredible.
Well, if you go hashtag MyPurMist on Instagram, you'll see hundreds of people posting
there you
pictures,
go.
and a lot of them are Broadway singers and actors and all sorts of things that uses the product.
So what out of this whole, you've been in a couple inventions now. What part of it do you enjoy the most? I know your daughter, getting something back from your daughter and how that actually helps. It can't get better than that. But in general, what in the journey of invention has been the most rewarding?
Well, I think as an entrepreneur, to see something that you have absolutely no idea the day you start, whether anybody's going to like it or not, and then see it grow, work with people, engineers and marketing people and business people and so on, figure out how you're going to do it, what it's going to look like. We have an industrial designer who helped us, so thank you for liking the design of it. And so on. But you kind of take care about everything around it, whether it's the electronics or the design or the functionality and so on. And it's just wonderful to see how that it all comes together,
Right.
and that people love the product at the end of the day.
Right.
Yeah.
How much of it is really pushing the limits of what you can do every day and really keeping what it is you want to do in focus and then crystallizing that and working towards it? How much of that is like can you express in verbal terms, just from beginning to end, how much does that actually play into it really happening?
So you mean taking the risk?
Taking the risk, but not
Yeah.
only taking the risk, starting from nothing,
Yeah.
and then building it into something, and how you have to visualize, you have to see what it is you want at the end.
Yeah.
And not only do you have to see it, you have to crystallize it. You have to mentally see it, what you want, and then you have to express it. But every day you got to work towards what it is that you see and you want.
It's iterative, and you make a lot of mistakes along the way, right? I mean, you have to, you get excited about something and you go, no, it's too big.
Right.
Or it's too tall, or it doesn't work this way, or people
Right.
don't like the button that way, or something. And then you go back and you modify, and you constantly go forth and back between, let's try this. Sometimes you try 3 different things, and you say, okay, this thing looked like it works. So it's iterative all the time.
Right.
And what's great about today is that if I go back to my early life in business, doing market surveys and customer surveys and so on was a complicated thing to do. Take
Right.
months and cost lots of money. And now you use one of these online, survey places, and you can, in a matter of a day, get feedback from customers on something.
What advice do you have for young entrepreneurs and inventors when they can be inspired by this show? What kind of advice do you give these people that are just starting out that just wonder if I could actually follow through with an idea that I have?
Yeah, be passionate about what you do. Be willing to work really hard, because none of this comes easy. It's much harder than you think in terms of attending to details and so on, but with lots of these things. Be willing to be shut down 10 times. You may be lucky the 11th time. So you have to be willing to fail and then get back up and continue. Pretty much like everything else in life, right?
Right.
And then make sure if you have a good idea and you listen, that you surround yourself with people who can help you, because you always have to be open to listen to other people. And often entrepreneurs are very, laser focused, that they know what they want to do, and that's okay. But still be willing to have other people tell you, this is good, this is bad, and then make your own decision about what you want to use that information for. But I think that's important, that you surround yourself with people who can help you get there.
Right. Excellent advice. See that? First of all, surround yourself with you're only as good as your friends too.
Yes.
who you bring into your circle.
Yeah.
But absolutely, then be willing to listen to everybody and be willing to recognize what needs a little modification and how much you can gain by somebody else's insight.
Yeah.
Right?
So I could give you an example. On our board, we put together people, and we have a guy on the board who was the chief financial officer for a pharmacy chain, Long's Drugs, right? So he understands how my customers work, the
Right.
retailers and so on.
Absolutely.
What do they think, right? When we meet with them and so on. And we have a guy who worked for Nestle, and Red Bull. And so
Wow.
on. So that, this is how it works. This is how you distribute products. This is how you, without running out of cash and all that kind of stuff.
Right. I have one last kind of final question is what marketing, in terms of marketing, in terms of advertising, in terms of getting, Kickstarter, for example, what mechanism worked the best for you in terms of the online push? Was it internet? Was it YouTube? Was it any one of the social networking sites? What do you think gave you the most bang for your buck?
Well, we have been extremely successful with TV.
Television.
So
Wow.
we use TV commercials as the primary driver for selling our product. And so 80% of all our marketing spend goes to TV.
So you're saying, when you say TV, you're saying actual cable TV, conventional television?
Yes, commercials.
Wow. And were you doing
Yeah.
national spots? Were you doing
National
local?
spots, all national spots.
What particular channels were you running on?
Anything from CNN, MSNBC, Fox,
You were just blanketing.
Oprah Winfrey Network.
Right.
Yeah.
You were doing.
You constantly figure out where you're the most successful and so on. There's all
Right.
sorts of metrics you can buy and
Right.
get and so on for
yeah.
what works. So you're constantly trying to figure out which stations are the better, what time of day, all those kinds of things.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah.
get better at it over time.
Oh, you do. You figure
yeah.
it out. You figure out, gee, where's my money being spent best?
Yeah.
You get
but
instant-
I have to admit that it used to be TV.
Right.
But increasingly we're getting more and more focused on social media.
Right.
Because big percent of the country's marketing budget, if you take, is going into social media now, and it is because if you want to get into the younger population, for instance,
Right.
And when I say younger, people who are 50 uses Facebook today, right?
Absolutely.
You got to go there and you got to learn it because that is where it's going to be in the future. At some point, TV is still going to be around for a while.
Right.
In the traditional sense. But I think if you fast forward 10, 20 years, it's going to look quite different in terms of how we consume it.
Right. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. This is something that I can't wait to try myself. MyPurMist. You heard it straight from the horse's mouth, CEO and the inventor of MyPurMist, Lars Barfod. I want to thank you for coming into Studio B.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.